Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj returns home, text number 9 onwards. No, text number 8 onwards. Tvadatya vayunayadam chashta vishvam supta prabhata ivanata bhavata prapannaha tasyava vargya sharanam tava padamulam Vishmaryate Kritavida Katham Arthabandho. O my master, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe. Just as a person awakens from sleep and visualizes his immediate duties, you are the only shelter of all persons who desire liberation, and you are the friend of all who are distressed. How, therefore, can a learned person who has perfect knowledge ever forget you? So the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be forgotten even for a moment by his surrendered devotees. The devotee understands that the Lord's causeless mercy is beyond his estimation. He cannot know how much he is benefited by the grace of the Lord. The more a devotee engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, the more encouragement is supplied by the energy of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that to those who are constantly engaged in devotional service with love and affection, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives intelligence from within, and thus they make further progress. Being so encouraged, the devotee can never forget at any moment the personality of Godhead. He always feels obliged to him for having achieved increased power in devotion service by his grace. Saintly persons like Shanak, Sanatan, and Lord Brahma were able to see the entire universe by the mercy of the Lord, through knowledge of the Lord. The example is given that a person may apparently abstain from sleep all day, but as long as he is not spiritually enlightened, he is actually sleeping. He may sleep at night and perform his duties in daytime, but as long as he does not come to the platform of working in spiritual enlightenment, he is considered to be always sleeping. A devotee, therefore, never forgets the benefit derived from the Lord. So Dhruva Maharaj is further praying to the Lord and saying, Lord Brahma is fully surrendered unto you, and you gave him the knowledge and by which he could see and understand the entire universe. Of course, Brahmaji could see the universe before also, but he could not understand because the eyes of knowledge were not open. So just as a person awakens from sleep and visualizes his immediate duties. So Prabhupada says, even if a person is awake materially, but spiritually he is sleeping. So he actually is sleeping. It's of no use if he is awake materially and does all sorts of activities, engaging in all sorts of endeavors. So only by the mercy of the Lord one gets a spiritual enlightenment, and then he can further work. So he's not really sleeping then. So Prabhupada says that a devotee is always grateful to the Lord for the eyes that he has given, and grateful to the spiritual master for the eyes he has given. So he never forgets the benefit derived from the Lord. But to have this kind of vision of not forgetting and being always grateful, one needs a humble heart. That humility is very important. Humility in the sense, understanding that nothing that I have that is making me spiritually advanced or awaken up in according to this verse. It's not by my doing I'm doing anything. It's not by my capabilities, my capacity, my strength, my abilities, whatever we want to call it, that I'm being able to achieve whatever I've done. It's only by the mercy of the Lord. That is a humble heart. That's a grateful heart. And then one cannot forget the benefit derived from the Lord. The Lord is addressed here as Arthabandhu, which means friend of the distressed. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, after many, many births of executing severe austerities, in search of knowledge, one comes to the point of real knowledge and becomes wise when one surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Mayavadi philosopher who does not surrender unto the Supreme Person is understood to be lacking in real knowledge. The devotee in perfect knowledge cannot forget his obligation to the Lord at any moment. So one comes to this understanding that I belong to the Supreme Lord and I'm servant of the Supreme Lord. I'm part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. And then when one surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. So the Lord is addressed here as Arthabandhu, means friend of the distressed, means after millions of lifetimes, suffering in the material world, one comes and surrenders. And then Krishna is here as a friend of the distressed. But those who do not surrender, Krishna remains, even if they are suffering in the material world, Krishna remains as neutral because they are suffering for their own karmas. But devotees, he has a special portion of his heart that's only for devotees. Or maybe the whole heart is only for devotees, we can say. Nunam vimushtam tayastav mayayate ye tvam havapya vimokshan manya hetuh archanti kalpa katarum kunupopabhogyam icchanti yat sparshajam niraye api niranam. Persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification of this bag of skin are certainly influenced by your illusory energy. In spite of having you, who are like a desired tree and are the cause of liberation from birth and death, foolish persons such as me desire benedictions from you for sense gratification, which is available even for those who live in hellish conditions. So this is the real awakening. Now Dhruv Maharaj has woken up. His eyes are open now. Means he's not sleeping. He's not spiritually sleeping. So persons who worship you simply for the sense gratification, for this bag of skin, kunape, tridhatuke. So kunape means a bag of skin, it is called the body. And actually it is nothing but a bag of skin. And then this bag, okay, some special shape and form is given and Krishna has put some bones and some blood and some marrow and muscles and whatever, all the organs he has put in there. And just given the bag to the soul, okay, you play around with it. But the soul gets so enamored by the bag that he thinks I am the bag. And that's it. That's where the problem starts. Dhruv Maharaj repented because he had come to the Lord to render devotional service for material profit. He here condemns his attitude. Only due to gross lack of knowledge does one worship the Lord for material profit or for sense gratification. The Lord is like a desired tree. Anyone can have whatever he desires from the Lord. But people in general do not know what kind of benediction they should ask from him. Happiness derived from the touch of a skin or sensuous happiness is present in the life of hogs and dogs. such happiness is very insignificant. Happiness derived from the touch of skin. Basically, Prabhupada is talking about the sexual happiness people derive. And Prabhupada says such happiness is present in the life of hogs and dogs as well. So such happiness is very insignificant. If a devotee worships the Lord for such insignificant happiness, he must be considered devoid of all knowledge. So a devotee does not worship the Lord for such kind of happiness. A devotee only worships to the Lord for advancement in devotional service. Yes, karma mishrit or gyan mishrit bhaktas might ask for these kind of benefits, but it's very insignificant happiness. Very, very insignificant. In fact, in the previous canto, when we studied Karda Muni, he did his tapasya, and then when Lord Vishnu appeared, he asked him for a suitable partner, life partner. In one sense, he was right because he had to do his service that Brahmaji wanted him to do. And he knew if the Lord gives him a life partner, that she would help him in making progress spiritually as well. But in one sense, it was not considered very intelligent for a devotee to ask for such kind of benedictions. Text 10. Ya nirvrittis tanu bhritam tav pad padma dhyanad bhavad jan katha shravanen vasya sa brahmani swamahimmanyapi nathama bhuta kim tvant kasitsilu litat patatam vimana. My Lord, the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon your lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotees is so unlimited that it is far beyond the stage of Brahmananda, wherein one thinks himself merged in the impersonal Brahman as one with the Supreme. Since Brahmananda is also defeated by the transcendental bliss derived from your devotional service, then what to speak of temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets, which is ended by the separating sword of time. Although one may be elevated to the heavenly planets, he falls down in due course of time. Temporary blissfulness of elevating oneself to the heavenly planets. So Dhruv Maharaj is saying even that is temporary. The happiness derived in this material world is insignificant. Happiness derived by going to heavenly planets is temporary. Even Brahmananda, when merging in Brahm Jyoti, is defeated by what? By transcendental bliss derived from devotional service. And he was saying the transcendental bliss derived from meditating upon the lotus feet or hearing about your glories from pure devotees is so unlimited. He only heard few glories of the Lord from the lotus mouth of Narad Muni. Few shlokas, that's it. And he derived unlimited happiness from that. The transcendental bliss derived from devotional service, primarily from Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, cannot be compared to the happiness derived by karmis, by elevating themselves to heavenly planets, or by jnanis or yogis, who enjoy oneness with the supreme impersonal Brahman. Yogis generally meditate upon the transcendental form of Vishnu, but devotees not only meditate upon him, but actually engage in the direct service of the Lord. In the previous verse, we find the phrase bhavapyaya, which refers to birth and death. The Lord can give relief from the chain of birth and death. It is a misunderstanding to think as do the monists. Monist means the Mayavadis. That when one gets relief from the process of birth and death, he merges into the Supreme Brahman. Here it is clearly said that the transcendental bliss derived from Shravanam Kirtan by pure devotees cannot be compared to Brahmananda or impersonal conception of transcendental bliss derived by merging into the Absolute. So there's no comparison actually. Rupa Goswami in one place he says that transcendental bliss derived from Brahmananda, of course there is some bliss, some happiness, is considered to be a drop of the ocean which can be derived, the ocean of bliss that can be derived from engaging in devotion service. So that bliss or happiness found in the material world is not even considered a drop compared to the ocean of devotion service. The position of karmis is still more degraded. Their aim is to elevate themselves to the higher planetary systems. It is said, Yanti Deva Vrita Deva. Persons who worship the demigods are elevated to the heavenly planets. But elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, we find Shine Punya Marte Lokam Vishanti. Those who are elevated to the higher planetary systems must come down again as soon as the results of their pious activities are exhausted. They're like the modern astronauts who go to the moon as soon as their fuel is used up, they're obliged to come back to this earth. So, Shine Punya Marte Lokam Vishanti means once the bank balance of pious activities is over. So even if one has reached the heavenly planets, he has to come back, Marte Lokam, to earth. As a modern astronauts who go to the moon or other heavenly planets by force of jet propulsion have to come down again after exhausting the fuel, so also do those who are elevated to the heavenly planets by force of yagyas and pious activities. Antakakshi Lulita, by the sword of time one is cut from his exalted position within this material world, and he comes down again. Dhruv Maharaj appreciated that the results of devotion service are far more valuable than merging into the Absolute or being elevated to the heavenly planets. The words Patatam Vimanat are very significant. Viman means airplanes. Those who are elevated to the heavenly planets are like airplanes which drop when they run out of fuel. So the fuel of karmic bank balance, once it is over, they have to come back to earth. But not the persons who are performing devotion service. So that result is permanent. Always one achieves the spiritual planet where one resides eternally. Bhakti moho prahavatam tvai me prasango bhuyadananda mahatam amalashayanam yenanjaso albanam uru vyasanam bhavavadhim naishya bhavadguna kathamritapanam mattaha. Dhruv Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly. As the waves of a river constantly flow, such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotion service, I shall surely be able to cross an assigned ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. So he is saying, I want to engage more and more in a devotion service. I want to hear more and more about your qualities and pastimes. The significant point in Dhruv Maharaj's statement is that he wanted the association of pure devotees. Transcendental devotional service cannot be complete and cannot be relishable without the association of devotees. We have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who's trying to be aloof from this Krishna Consciousness society and yet engage in Krishna consciousness is living in a great hallucination, for this is not possible. From this statement by Dhruv Maharaj, it is clear that unless one is associated with devotees, his devotional service does not mature. It does not become distinct from material activities. The Lord says, Satam prasangam mam veera samvita bhavanti hritkarana rasayana. Only in the association of pure devotees can the words of Lord Krishna be fully potent and relishable to the heart and ear. Dhruv Maharaj explicitly wanted the association of devotees. That association in devotional activities is just like the waves of an incessantly flowing river. In our Krishna Consciousness Society, we have full engagement 24 hours a day. Every moment of our time is always busily engaged in the service of the Lord. This is called the incessant flow of devotional service. Incessant means without any stopping, no cessation. So Prabhupada saying ISKCON actually has 7 purposes, and one major purpose is to give this association of devotees to people in general, so they can also relish Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan. And actually this is the only pleasure. And once one engages in this association, get hold of this association, it's difficult, very difficult, impossible to give it up. And one cannot make progress without the association of devotees. So wherever the devotees are, they are always glorifying the Lord, chanting the names of the Lord, or serving the Lord. And in that association, if one comes, one can learn, and once that intrinsic character to serve Krishna, to hear about Krishna, it gets awakened. And then one relishes this association and the Krishna Katha in that association. A Mayavadi philosopher may question us. You may be very happy in the association of devotees, but what's your plan for crossing the ocean of material existence? Dhruv Maharaj's answer is that it's not very difficult. He clearly says that this ocean can be crossed very easily if one simply becomes mad to hear the glories of the Lord. Bhavad Guna Katha. For anyone who persistently engages in hearing the topics of the Lord from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and who is actually addicted to this process, just as one becomes addicted to intoxicants, it's very easy to cross the nescience of material existence. The ocean of material existence is compared to a blazing fire, Sansara Davanam. But to a devotee, this blazing fire is insignificant because he is completely absorbed in devotion service. Although the material world is blazing fire, to a devotee it appears full of pleasure, Vishwam Purna Sukhaya. So even in this situation of corona problem, all over the world, devotees are, yes, there is some sort of emergency, some sort of being careful is there, but actually devotees are not that worried. They're saying, oh, we are finding more time for hearing and chanting and doing some Krishna Katha. All over the world, devotees are preaching online now. They're finding new avenues for preaching. Even where devotees are doing book distribution online these days. They're saying without coronavirus situation, we would have figured it out how to do book distribution online. And they are relishing it. They're enjoying it. The purport of this statement by Dhruv Maharaj is that devotional service in the association of devotees is a cause of development of further devotional service. By devotional service only is one elevated to the transcendental planet, Golok Vrindavan. And there is only devotional service. For the activities of devotional service, both in this world and in the spiritual world, are one and the same. Devotional service does not change. The example of a mango can be given here. If one gets an unripe mango, it is still a mango. And when it is ripe, it remains the same mango, but it has become more tasteful and relishable. Similarly, there is devotional service performed according to the direction of the spiritual master and the injunctions of regulative principles of Shastra. And there is devotional service in the spiritual world, rendered directly in the association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are both the same. There is no change. The difference is that one stage is unripe and the other is ripe and more relishable. It is possible to mature in devotional service only in the association of devotees. So association of devotees is very, very important. Dhruv Maharaj is begging for that association, and in fact in Chaitanya Charitamrita when we read Haridas Thakur, Sarup, Kholavecha Sridhar, everybody just asks for, give us, please don't let us be bereft of the association of devotees. Now the association of devotees can be in the Vapu form or Vani form. Vapu means a body or Vani means a words or instructions. So now it's not the time for us to go have physical association of devotees. So we can associate in by Vani, by the sound. So we can read Prabhupada's books. That's also association of Prabhupada. We can listen to Prabhupada's lectures or other devotees' lectures. We can listen to Kirtan online. There's so many ways we can associate. But the point is we should not give up the association. So try to do as much as association as possible. And that's the only way to make progress in devotion service. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hear me, Prabhuji?
Now I can hear you, but I lost you.
Yes, this realization of this, that how I come in contact with Pramod Prabhuji, and later point of time he used to tell me that there are some classes going on and Kailash, why don't you go visit there? And a couple of times I went alone in the temple, and I realized this, when we have the association with the devotees, first of all, we get a lot of love, lot of affection, and lot all many things. So it's so much important. I mean, I was not knowing the curriculum or the schedules when the classes is going on, but through Pramod Prabhuji, I come to know at least little also, because I with all this, and no ISKCON nearby to visit at least. But now here it's so important to be in association with devotees, which I'm missing at the moment.
Yeah, Pramod Prabhu is wonderful, very, very advanced devotee, and he likes to give lots of association. But if you're in Ayodhya, well, there are wonderful devotees there as well. Your whole house is full of devotees. But online, you can always access. That's always possible. So something we can make use of.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Vinay Prabhuji was always elevated at office, I know that. And Prabhuji, today we have another colleague from our office, Vivek Srivastava. We interacted yesterday
Yeah.
and he wanted to join the class and he has joined us with today. Kindly bless him with your association as well, Prabhuji, so that he can also relish Krishna.
Jai Hare Krishna. Welcome, Vivek Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vivek Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So maybe very soon we have to rename RBS as Royal Bhakti Sangha.
I wish, Prabhuji. I wish.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada.
Shall we all stop here? Thank you, Prabhuji. So you all have wonderful.
Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Jai
Hare
Shri
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.